Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Couple updates to the DCEU. Right after I did my video last night, like right after, okay, Gal Gadot decides to post up an official picture of her as Wonder Woman for Wonder Woman 84. She is back. That's her in all her suit glory. It is the original suit from before, but if you look closely, it is a lot brighter. Okay, it's a lot brighter. The reds are popping, the blues are popping. It's actually a lot more cleaner this time around. And some people were kind of like, well, what's the deal with that? Why is it cleaner than the first movie? Well, I don't think they're going to explain it all. I think it's because of the 80s retro thing. It lightens, they'll lighten it up, they'll colorize it to go along with the concept of 80s retro. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that just fits with that era. And again, a lot of people are reporting that she is going to get a certain type of power suit, another type of suit. So this is just her version of it. This is the one we've seen before, and she still looks pretty good in it, so that is great. This is how you do it, by the way, right? Not like Shazam, where they had people on the streets filming and taking pictures from far away. No, you get clay animals to come in there, take a great picture for promotional purposes before people get those off the camera, away from the sites picture, and it's like blurry and it's not that great looking, doesn't have that appeal to it, the lighting's not that great. This is how you do it. I don't know why it took so long for Shazam to come out with any type of promotional. They haven't even yet either. I mean, they showed it at that licensing expo, but it's nothing to be really excited about, right? Because we've seen it, or we've seen junk shots of that suit. So this is nice to see that they're on top of their game, and it's clay animals, by the way. So getting that picture out there, this official picture out there, having Gal Gadot actually post it, this is a great way to even though we've already seen the suit, but it's great to get promotional pictures in this type of fashion rather from some dude's camera, cell phone camera, that looks blurry and ugly. That's just what I wanted to say with that. So I'm glad Wonder Woman 84 has been filming. Looks like they were filming today with her in a suit and having Chris Pine at the area. There's some type of interesting, I don't know, was it explosions or something, or some kind of chaos happening in Washington, D.C., and I guess she has to go and save the day. So that's awesome. That's really awesome. That's great for that. Now, there are a lot of media, social bloggers has been picking up the story with Henry Cavill working out. He posted this on Instagram of him trying to, lift some, trying to live. I don't know how many pounds that is. It's quite a lot. But he posted on Instagram, and he posted this. He said, working on the Super Buns, which if you vote for me in the Teen Choice Awards, link in bio, and I end up winning, then you may or may not see them in a tight blue outfit much sooner, but totally probably. As an aside, please ignore the fact that I'm also 6 months pregnant with a baby made up entirely of cookies and pizza. Some stiff competition in my Teen Choice Awards category, and I wish those gentlemen very good luck. So get online and vote with your hearts, but vote for me. P.S. At The Rock, just following your lead, big guy. I see your Hobbs beef piston power thrusts, and I raise you a super booty burner with paws. Hashtag Calpause, hashtag Superman, hashtag Teen Choice Awards, Super Buns, Summer Belly. So, a lot of people are looking into that and looking right toward that one line where he says that he's going to not see them in a tight blue outfit much sooner, but totally probably. Now, I think he's just kind of, in a way, hinting that if he does win, he may come out in the Superman suit. Will Warner Brothers let him borrow it? Does he have a suit or just maybe a shirt that's a blue Superman shirt or something like how The Rock wore at one time? with Kevin Hart as what Kevin Hart was Batman, I think was that what it was? But that same suit or whatever. But a lot of people are hinting, oh, is he coming back as Superman? Is gonna be shooting Superman? Well, I don't know if he is. I mean, he maybe already did. Shazam did finish production, unless he is going in for some reshoots and they're adding Superman into that storyline. But I don't. I feel like he's just playing it, just teasing his possible appearance at Teen Choice Awards if he wins. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But I am excited. I'm super excited if he is actually going to be shooting as Superman for Shazam, because after Justice League, we kind of need a little palate cleanser. If we don't see a Snyder cut anytime soon, we kind of need a palate cleanser with a appearance in Shazam. In any case, right? So that is that, and that's really interesting. Now, another thing interesting today was a photographer goes by the name of Jason LeBoy actually got to meet Mark Mcclure, who is the original, the Jimmy Olsen from the Superman Christopher Reeve Donner films, and he was able to ask him about the director's cut. And Mark Mcclure actually told him that he's waiting to see the director's cut because he had shot many scenes, maybe 3 scenes with Amy Adams. And so you got you thinking, says, wait a minute, why would he be shooting with Amy Adams? Well, apparently, those that scene where Barry Allen goes to the prison to visit his father, and Mark McClure's character is behind the gate as a prison guard, and taking down his information. Well, that was actually a reshot scene. Mark McClure was actually possibly a beat cop, right? And he actually drove Amy Adams around. So he actually was there to take Amy Adams to the Superman Memorial site, and that's why we see him there when Cyborg saves him from a fiery tank, which also begs the question of saying, okay, well, that is very clear now that Amy Adams wasn't part of Bruce Wayne's plan. So if you look at it that way, then you can really tell that there's a lot going on there that we don't know, right? And there's a lot of scenes that are reshot or done, added in, that are totally not Zack Snyder. It has become more of a Justice League than we could ever imagine, or maybe you could imagine. I could imagine as well. But so that also takes away that whole scene about bringing the big guns. She didn't meet Alfred. Alfred didn't take her to the Superman Memorial. That scene where she turns and looks up in the sky, that is canon. That actually was done by Zack Snyder. And it probably at that point where Mark McClure's character, who she was a beat cop, actually took her from the street to the memorial, and then she was there to witness Superman wreaking havoc, possibly against the military, against the other heroes, and there have been possibly more action going on in there, a lot more chaos happening in there, and a lot more awesome fight, I believe. But also that if she wasn't there as the big gun, the weapon, in terms of the weapon that Bruce Wayne or Batman intended to use against Superman in a way to kick and snap him out of it, then does that mean that whole scene where he talks to Alfred about Superman, about how he is more human than I am, which was a great scripted scene, great script, except up to the part where when Bruce Wayne says he'll get over it after Alfred says, what if he didn't want to come back to life? I thought that part was like, okay, well, that is more a Joss Whedon type of deal. But that whole scene, that whole exchange between Alfred and Bruce Wayne was actually a Joss Whedon scene. That does not exist in the original cut, as we have also seen before and behind the scenes and a little bit clips in the promos where he actually talks to Alfred in the Batcave with a furry coat. So that is also quite different itself. So there's probably no mention of having a big gun. There's no thing like that. They just wanted to close up the Batman v Superman Lois is the key partial of the story quickly, and so that's why they filmed it that way, where she's just a big gun. That's the key, but and totally destroying the whole continuity of the nightmare sequence and everything like that. And so I think that's what happened with that. So it is kind of junk to know that Mark Mcclure was brought on and he only had like one scene when he had like multiple scenes and he had more lines in him too. And also that whole thing with the military battle, I would have totally loved to see that. Now that begs the question, right? A lot of people are wondering, well, who brought him on? Well, apparently it's possible that Joss Whedon, I'm not saying Joss Whedon, but Geoff Johns had actually brought on Mark Mcclure to play Jimmy Olsen. And why would he be the one to actually change that scene to have less being there, to change it so that he's not really in that moment at all? There are multiple ways you could look at it. There was that report from earlier before, and I retweeted it out. I can't find his name right now. I wish I had that prepared. But there was that gentleman who was from Variety, and he did mention that the Warner Brothers execs did not like Geoff Johns and Zack Snyder's version of the movie, and so they had a whole big groups of directors to get involved, and they picked Joss Whedon to direct the movie, to put in his version of the movie. So that's what he said, and he's from a Variety, and it was not a news article. I'm trying to find here his name. It was not a news article. I find that interesting and compelling, especially when you add to the fact that Geoff Johns had added Mark Mcclure into it. So that could also mean that Geoff Johns was also ousted, right? He was also ousted from the decisions that made. There could have been 3 compromises, right? Well, the third compromise we all saw in the theaters. So the second compromise was with Geoff Johns involved. But the studio still never liked that, and so they ordered John Berg, Geoff Johns, to hire Joss Whedon and to work with him. Maybe Geoff Johns did have something better than what Joss Whedon had ultimately had. But that is, it just stirs the pot a little bit more. But in the long run, this could actually be in favor for people who are very angry at Geoff Johns. Whatever happened there with Geoff Johns, I don't know. A lot of people have believe that or say they know that what Geoff Johns had done in a negative fashion or even a positive fashion. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just saying what people have said. But if this is true, and where Geoff Johns was also ousted in the same fashion as Zack Snyder, and they really put all their chips into Joss Whedon, that's why Joss Whedon was fired, let go from their thing, because they put all the trust in him. And ultimately, John Berg stepping out, and DC Films dismantled, and Geoff Johns had to pretty much leave DC Entertainment, start up his own production company called Mad Ghost Productions. So, all in all, I mean, it doesn't look good for anybody at this point, right? It doesn't look good. It really doesn't really matter at this point, because what's done is done. But if the reports are true, and Geoff Johns was actually maybe working better with Zack Snyder than what Joss Whedon was doing, then there could be a reason to believe that having Geoff Johns be part of, for the people who don't want Geoff Johns anywhere near the DC properties, maybe this is some kind of consolation, knowing that the ultimate guy who was involved was the exec who hired, possibly Sujihara, who hired Joss Whedon to get involved, and those two parties did not work well, and ultimately Geoff Johns and John Berg could have just bit the bullet and be the scapegoats that they are now, and to be, to totally go away. But if these reports are true, if these people, what they're saying is true, I have no other sources or anything like that. I'm just reporting what, and when I'll find that tweet though. I'll find that tweet. I'm trying to figure out who it was. I think this was it. Was it Kyle Buchanan? I think it was Kyle Buchanan. He works for Vulture. Okay. I think it was Kyle Buchanan. I'll have to look in that further, but If I figure it out, I'll probably put it in the description, the link of what actually transpired with that. So that is interesting. Lastly, Gabriel, I think it stays Gabriel Groy, or is it Gorbriel Gray, or Gabriel Grib, whatever. It's hashtag GBRELGRY. He has tweeted before, and he has some scoops, and he calls himself a mysterious insider. So I don't know if this is for a fact or anything like that. But what he says is interesting about a little bit about the Snyder Cut and about the DC thing. Now, I talked about this, but since this is a Saturday, I'm just going to throw it in there. He did explain about the DCEU overhaul plans, right? And I'm going to be looking at this. So he says reports are already flying about the DCEU overhaul plans, but what I haven't seen reported and I've heard whispers about are plans for two alternate continuities that at intersections will cross over. The new one will apparently cater to darker, riskier DC projects, CR rated. This may explain multiple Joker projects and the seemingly implausible Todd Phillips Joker origin, played by an actor of equal age to Leto. This may also explain rumors over Matt Reeves' Batman and the route they've decided for that project, and that's imminent. This may also be a let's throw everything up in the air and see what sticks approach in light of other events recently, and by the way, all indications are a long-form plan is being put in place now, and DC are positioning themselves to challenge Marvel. This may be that approach. Use one continuity to push lower budget, darker, riskier productions, Blumhouse, anyone, and the other to bring audience friendly spectacle, DCEU, thereby having the best of both worlds, literally, and then playing with all their toys. By the way, Lobo is currently being redrafted. The previous Lobo draft was, from what I understand, an NC-17 territory, although I haven't read it. If you're a DCEU fan, you definitely want to be at San Diego Comic-Con, where I'm sure you're going to find out what the hell is going on one way or another. And if, of course, AT&T don't consolidate the division in the meantime, which is unlikely because it appears Warner Brothers and DC have done a lot of internal restructuring to prevent too much unwarranted scrutiny, which should be arriving on Hamada's front door right about now, actually. We'll see. So that, like I said before, where that whole thing, the report saying DC Dark and the regular DC, apparently this mysterious insider also says that that is looking like the case. What could this mean for the DCEU? Well, like I said, there could be different pathways now. Who knows? Maybe Wonder Woman 1 was part of the when from that one branch that we did. Now we're separating into two after Justice League. After Justice League, Wonder Woman 84, Shazam, Aquaman. The other one, the Joker, the Todd Phillips Joker, possibly even if Matt Reeves the Batman is not in this area, Matt Reeves the Batman could be in this area. The little lower budget detective noir film, a Batman story, the Batman story from Matt Reeves going up DC Dark way. So, and then they could converge later on in multiverses and stuff like that. That's uniquely awesome as well. Who else can play in this area? Maybe the Snyder Cut. Who knows, right? That could be definitely interesting as well. He does go on about the Snyder Cut, though. And this is not really. I mean, he kind of says it in a way to not be too, He doesn't want to confirm anything in that sense. So he says, so Gray, where the hell does this leave the Snyder Cut? And the answer is, that's a damn good question, but maybe you should think of it as a Schrodinger's cut. So just like Schrodinger's cat, it's really 50-50. Digital work continued for a short while post-release. Many shots are final. A new cut could effectively be a new flick, and it was always the plan, but Warner Brothers find themselves in a peculiar situation at the moment. So if I were to use business head, I would say you move on and don't look back. And that's his own opinion, by the way, for that in terms of business. But What he said was interesting, and I remember him saying a while back after Justice League was come out that digital work was still being worked on the film even after release. For a short while post-release, many shots were final. So a new cut could effectively be a new flick. Now this is interesting because it does coincide what Lord Paulus, who likes to comment on my videos, have said that there are two versions of Snyder Cut. One is the one they've seen to the execs, and the one that's either being worked on or some people have said completed. We'll see for sure how that works out. It's all rumor right now, but there could be some news hopefully coming real soon. A lot of people are thinking coming real soon as in before San Diego Comic-Con or after San Diego Comic-Con, or a lot of people are crossing their fingers for San Diego Comic-Con. Now, I don't know if they're going to even talk about the Snyder Cut at San Diego Comic-Con because, like other people have said, even my fellow YouTuber Dave the Film Junkie has said to calm down, don't think that Snyder Cut could be announced at San Diego Comic-Con. And there is some logic to that because, like he said, all the attention wants to be on Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman 84, big tentpole films, and whatever slate they're going to do next. And I said that even if Zack Snyder shows up, it's probably because he is involved with Wonder Woman 84. He is the producer on that, and if he's going to be there, it's probably to show support for that film. But if there is anything about a Snyder Cut, it will be very small. It will be very brief, if at all. But a lot of people are saying news about an announcement. Snyder Cut could be even before San Diego Comic-Con or a long time after. Who knows? But now a lot of people are being confused too by what they mean about the Snyder Cut. I don't mean the Snyder Cut's coming out. I mean just the announcement of it, just the acceptance of it. And I think just by having acknowledgement in some sort of fashion from Warner Brothers, from Zack Snyder, from anybody in the official arena, Zack Snyder or the editors, or in some official fashion, or even an official announcement, would be extremely happy news for me. Okay, I don't need to see the movie right away. You go ahead and work on it, but I just want to know that it's actually being worked on or it's actually coming. That's what I want to know. Just one little piece of, like I said last night, one picture, something to say definitively that there is something to be you can expect something. It doesn't have to be soon. It doesn't have to be this year. It doesn't have to be next year. But we know that it's coming, and that will be enough for me. Unless they said no, then I think there's still something going on with that. A lot of NDAs for some weird reason. So that's what I think about that. And really hoping. I mean, San Diego Comic-Con, oh my God. Now, I know we're supposed to have talked about the Snyder Cut today. The Dave Film Junkie had some things to do, so we kind of canceled it. And we're going to talk about it on Wednesday. And on Tuesday, late afternoon, I have also with the Zod Writer Show, and we'll be on that show. I retweeted that link. Maybe I'll link it up here. I'm not sure. So, very interesting, very cool. Hopefully we get some more news, and I think it's been ramping up. Honestly, it's been quite ramping up ever since the merger, and I think it's because of the merger Warner Brothers has confidence to move forward with their plans, and according to AT&T CEO, he has, you have my word, I'm not going to touch the creative aspects of Time Warner yet. I'm still saying yet because, money talks, and if money's not flowing, the popularity is not flowing, CEOs always change their minds and start, putting their hands in. I mean, look at what happened with Kevin Sujihara, right? Putting his hands in all this business. In any case, it's going to be a great weekend. By the way, tomorrow is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. I did get to take my kids out to watch The Incredibles 2. That was a great film. Actually, very family-oriented film, and a lot to do with the mother, though, which is awesome because we didn't get to really see Elastigirl's powers too much in the first one, but she is the highlight of this film. She has some awesome powers. She's kind of like doing Spider-Man stuff at the same time, so it's really cool. You guys should check it out. Take your fathers or whatever your families out, go watch Incredibles 2. It is a great film. That's my mini review about it. Yeah, go out, have a good time, have a happy Father's Day weekend, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. I said it again. Bye.